Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Bullpen. Man, this is going to be interesting. I have a guy I've actually known for a very long time, and he's always said very, very extreme and conservative things. Well, he now has one of the top conservative shows in the city of Atlanta, working for WSB. You can check out his long and extensive bio. But I have on the program conservative talk radio personality, host Word on the Street, Shelley Wynter. Shelley, good day.
Good day, my brother. Good day. I'm so proud of you, my man. I love you.
I love you back, man. And listen, we may get into an argument today. I hope we don't. I hope we're able to have.
Oh, we will.
I know, man.
It's okay. It's okay.
We go back. You've been on my radio show. I've had to kick you out of my radio show because I was damn near about to hit you. But I'm glad you're on the show today. Let me bring your attention to something, because I have to start with an almost point of agreement with you. Some months back, you actually had some words about Donald Trump, how he came after Governor Kemp. You did not like how Donald Trump came after the Republican governor of Georgia. And you were known to be a Trump guy. You were known to be generally supportive of Donald Trump. And I'm sure many people in the Trumpite cult, they came against you. I'm just sure of that. But you said that, and then you did something even more extreme, in my opinion, and was very public about it. During the very contentious US Senate election in Georgia, where everyone was biting their nails, trying to figure out, would Ossoff win? Would Warnock win? Would Loeffler win? Or would Perdue win? You, as a conservative commentator and a radio guy, you came out and said that you are actually voting for Dr. Raphael Warnock for the US Senate and voting for Jon Ossoff for the US Senate. I want you to revisit that for this conversation and tell us why, as a conservative, Trump supporting, Republican talking individual, you decided to vote for and publicly announce you were supporting 2 Democrats for the US Senate.
Well, first to the, thanks for having me, but first to the Kemp Trump battle, if you will. I live in Georgia. I'm more concerned with who my governor is than a guy who had just lost the presidency. So what Trump was saying about Kemp really bothered me, because you're already out of the White House, or you're going to be out of the White House. And I didn't need you criticizing a governor who still had a race coming up, which is gonna be a bloodbath here in Georgia. I mean, a knife fight here in Georgia between him and Stacey Abrams. So I didn't need that war, one. Number two, again, I'm a Brian Kemp. I'm loyal to Brian Kemp. He's always told me what he's gonna do. He's done it. Everything he said he was going to run on, what he ran on, he accomplished, or he tried to accomplish. But I live in Georgia. I'm more concerned with who my governor is than who a candidate for president who was running for re-election, who at that time had just lost. Then I don't really care, and I don't need you stepping into a Georgia race only because your feelings are hurt because the governor didn't do what you thought he should do. And I've been telling Republicans that, who like Vernon Jones of all people, over Brian Kemp, because the governor then shut down the election and changed the outcome, which is patently absurd that conservatives who stand on constitutional principles want a governor to break the Constitution and do something he's not constitutionally able to do. So that's the first thing.
Okay, let me stop you there. You have just made more sense in roughly 3 minutes than your whole damn party has made in about 3 years. You have to understand.
I'm trying to bring. No, we've made a lot of sense in 3 or 4 years. We have. I'm not gonna take that shot. I'm not gonna let you shoot the whole party down. We have made a lot of sense.
Man, it's not the Republican Party, brother. It is Trump's party. But go ahead.
Oh, I'll
let you talk about the Senate.
It absolutely is. 75 million votes. It ought to be his party. It definitely is his party. That's without question. But to the point of voting for Warnock and Ossoff, I was just mad. I had said early in the summer during that general election, or a jungle primary, if you will, that don't go after first Warnock's religion or his preaching, not his religion, his preaching. I was totally against that. I said, don't do it, and they did it anyway. And I thought it was my statement in that race was I knew Warnock would only be there until next year, so I knew it wasn't a 6-year term. So I could tie in my mind, I could tie the Senate up for 2 years and then take back that seat in 2022. Hopefully, prayerfully, but that's the plan. But my message was to the Republican Party is, you can't continue to just throw things out here to move the base. Bring us policy. What are you going to do? I go out every day and I tell African Americans, vote Republican, and here's why. Now you're just doing the exact same thing the Democrats do. Is the Democrats say, don't vote for them, they're Republican. They're racist. And the Republicans say, don't vote for the other side because they're radical leftist socialists. Well, that doesn't help my day to day. I need things that help my day to day. You're gonna tell me you're gonna cut spending? Actually cut spending. You want tax cuts? Actually cut taxes. These are the things that I want the Republicans to do, because I think we can start moving, particularly African Americans and Hispanics, over to our side if we push policy over just name calling and dog whistles with radical socialists.
So that's why you voted for Warnock. Why did you vote for Ossoff?
I like Ossoff. He came on my show. I'll be honest right here. This is completely self-serving, and voting for the record, voting is completely self-serving. I don't vote for a community. I don't vote for a group of people. I vote for Shelley. Shelley was on the radio. Ossoff came on every time we invited him. Perdue never even answered us back. I wasn't going to reward that. My bread and butter, the way I put food on my table, is by providing content. So when I call a guy to help me provide content and he responds every time to come on, and the guy that I'm supposed to vote for just totally ignores me, I'm gonna make you pay. All right,
so let me say this. First of all, I'm actually glad you came out and said, hey, I'm voting for Warnock and I'm voting for Ossoff, okay? It made a lot of news in the state, and you did provide some commentary and also an interview about why you did that. I disagree with your why. I completely disagree with your why. And I understand your why is authentic to you. But when I vote, I do actually vote for a community. And sometimes I will vote for a community that may not be the best for perhaps an industry that I'm a part of, or a connection that I have financially. That's fine, I'm okay with that. I'm willing to vote for the community that means more to me than something that I may have been connected to or an industry that I'm a part of. I understand the matrix of politics can get complicated sometimes. But let's be very clear what they did to you, brother. Let's be very clear, okay? You have one of the top political conservative shows in the state of Georgia. You have Republicans, conservatives, Trumpites who listen to your program on a regular basis, okay? There was a lot of dissension inside of the Republican Party about voting, period. There were the myths about the voting machines were from China. There's all kind of crazy stuff, right? You were in a place to say, listen, here's the reality and here's why you should or should not vote. They ignored you. I heard an interview you did. You said, okay, well, Loeffler kind of played with you a little bit, but never got on the show. Perdue just ignored you. Don't you think it's problematic because they went on other conservative talk shows? You happen to be the black guy. And you have a lot more listeners than a whole lot of the white conservative talkers in the city. Don't you think that's indicative, not of them only, but of a culture inside of the Republican Party?
No.
And hold on,
not at all. Not at all. No, I know where you're going. No, not at all.
I'm not finished, brother. No, you gonna let it happen today. Let me tell you the reason they didn't come on your show.
I'm answering no.
Okay, let me tell you the reason they didn't come on your show, brother.
Right.
They didn't come on your show because you put it out there that you were gonna talk to them about what they would do for black Americans or black Georgians. You put that out there. That's why they didn't come on your program. Now tell me I'm lying.
I'll tell you, yes, that's not true. Perdue didn't do any radio. Perdue did one interview on radio, I think in late October. Other than that, Purdue did no media. So in that case, I'm lumped in with everybody else. Kelly Loeffler did, I think, a show here on WSB towards mid-October, and that was it. Both of them did not do a lot of media, which was a mistake on their part. But no, I'm not gonna put it at that point that that's the reason, not at all. The reason they didn't do it is the same reason they didn't go on Martha Zala's show in North Georgia, which is right there in Central Gainesville. The reason why they didn't do those shows either. So there's a bunch of shows that they didn't do. They didn't do John Frederick's show.
Let me bring your attention to something. All right, brother, I got receipts.
Okay, good.
Let me bring your attention to an interview you did with a man named Mr. Maynard Eaton that we know very well. Right. On that show, and brother, I got the clip.
No, I know you. I did say, no, hold on, let's be clear. I did put that out there as the reason why I wanted them to come on. I'm answering your question to say that's not the reason they didn't come on. That reason that I wanted them to talk about black people is not the reason they didn't come on. No, not at all. Because if it were that reason, I would have seen them all over media during that election and also during the runoff. And I didn't see that happening.
Do you think, and that is interesting to me, because I truly believe they did not come on your show.
Of course you
because you said I'm going to talk about a black agenda, and I mean, they weren't trying to talk about a black agenda.
They were at the Black Agenda launch. They were at the Lift Every Voice.
Man, that's not.
Well, I'm saying they were there.
Come on, man. You call that damn Trump rally, Black People for Trump, whatever y'all called it. You call that a Black Agenda tour?
Well, that's where he announced it. Is what I'm saying. That's where he announced.
Wasn't it called like the Platinum Plan or something like that?
It was called the Platinum Plan, but I'm saying that I mixed them up. But the point is that that's where they were there. So there's no reason.
Come on, Shelley, you're smarter than that. Donald Trump.
If I felt that way, I've been honest with you the whole time.
I know, but you still, to me, brother, to me, you are smarter than that. But let me ask you this. Let me ask you this.
And if that is the reason,
the Platinum Plan. Let's go to the Platinum Plan.
Oh, that's in the past. Trump lost.
No, we're gonna talk about it. Listen, brother, we're talking about it. The Platinum Plan was a rule, right? Don't you get what the Platinum Plan was about? You understand what that was about, right?
Absolutely. I got Juneteenth as a holiday, but I'm still crying for reparations. You want to talk about being stooped? Yeah. Really? You really want to talk about being duped, dog? I mean, I got a federal holiday of a date that affected one state in honesty, and they're calling it a national.
No, hold on. Yeah, I agree with you on that. So, Shelley, I've done this whole commentary.
Yeah, and I'm still waiting for reparations.
That's right. So, brother, listen to me. Shelley, listen.
So, I mean, come on.
Listen, on this show,
go back to the guy that lost, so we can talk about the guy that's there.
Shelley, on this program, I've already criticized the whole notion of Juneteenth as a holiday, and I've said very clearly, I don't do what I do every day to send politicians to DC to give me a holiday. Now, it's not a bad thing to have a federal holiday. It is a bad thing if you think that's a win or pushes a policy agenda, because it does not. All right, but remember, the same Republicans that gave you that Juneteenth are the same Republicans that are anti-HR 1, anti the John Lewis Voting Rights Act, anti the George Floyd Policing and Accountability Act. So don't tell me that the Juneteenth holiday is a win.
No, I'm not saying it's a win or a loss. I'm just saying don't go back 2020 of November 2020 and an outreach to Black Americans and say that was the biggest joke, and then tell me now when 95% of Black Americans voted for Joe Biden that you control the House. And what you got out of it in the first 70 days is Juneteenth as a holiday. I don't even remember Juneteenth being a push for a holiday. Now I know Bob Johnson.
It was a push.
I'm talking about a push. I'm not talking about a push.
Not a national push, I agree, but it was proposed. I'm talking about it was submitted.
It was proposed.
There was a push.
Absolutely.
Let me go back to another.
You understand what I mean? I didn't see it on Black Twitter.
Man, come on, man. You know I do. Let me go back to a policy issue, because I've heard you talk about the economy of Black people, the ecosystem of our financial reality, right? If that's really your thing, if the economy of Black folks is really your thing as a Republican, I want to read some stats to you about the economy of Black folks, and I want you to respond to these stats.
Right.
Under Democratic presidents, Black families' incomes grew on an average of $900 a year, but only grew by $142 under Republican presidents. Black unemployment fell by a net of 8% across 26 years of Democratic leadership, but it actually went up a net percentage of 13.7 during the same amount of time as Republican presidencies or during Republican presidencies. Across the years, Democratic leadership, black poverty declined by 23.6 percentage points, but grew by 3 percentage points when Republicans held the White House. Now you can get all of that information from the United States Census Bureau.
Right. So can I answer you, Rob? Can I answer you?
Well, I
know where you're going.
Let me pose the question. If economy is your #1 driving political force, is it not time for people like you to consider supporting at least the policies that equate to a more equitable outcome for black folks rather than the policies that do not?
Absolutely not. And the fallacy in what you said is, you see where you're a very brilliant man, and I love you to death. You see how you mix up the term Republican president, and then every now and then you threw in Republican leadership?
No, sir.
Presidents don't.
No. I do not want you to.
That.
No, brother, listen to me.
I'm saying. I want to be clear. I'm answering your question.
But I want to make sure everyone understands when I say Republican leadership, I am still referring to Republican presidencies. I only changed the terminology so that I would not sound redundant. Go ahead.
Okay, no problem. So let me answer your question and not sound redundant. The fact of the matter is, presidents don't write policy. So what you have to do is go back and look at what you're listen to me. It's true. I mean, I have the Constitution.
They do push policy, brother. They do.
No, they push policy. I said they don't write policy. You tried it again. I didn't say push.
They get voted on based on a policy agenda.
Come on, Don. You're gonna ask me to answer your question?
Go ahead.
What you have to do is go back and look at your census numbers and see what the House, who ran the House when those numbers changed. And what you will find when you do your research, as your fans so happily tell you do all the time, you will find that under Republican leadership of the House and Senate, African Americans do better economically. Under Republican leadership of House and Senate, because that is where the money is spent and that's where the policies are written. Okay. All the president does is say, I want to do this. Picking out
no, that's not all the president does. Come on, Shelley. Okay, let me go ahead and read some other. Let me read some additional stats. He doesn't spend a dime,
nor does he write laws. You know
that. Thank you for your rebuttal.
It's a silly argument to say under Republican
and Democrat president. Let me go ahead and give you the rest of the argument. Right. Let me go ahead and give you the rest of the argument.
Black people do well. Black people do well when their schools work.
Let me give you the rest of the argument, sir. You don't have to try to bloviate your way out of this truth that you're about to get.
I'm telling you when black.
This is what happens when somebody's scared of the rebuttal. You ready?
There's no. This is what happens. How do black people do well?
Right. Number one, Shelley, do you mind citing the source of your information as it relates to the House and the Senate?
I didn't give you that. I said go back and do your research.
Well, where did you do your research?
I listen to me. Don't do a Mark Lamont Hill. This is what y'all do.
No, but wait a minute, brother. Where did you do your research? I gave you the source of mine.
You started your argument by saying under Republican presidents, X, Y, and Z happens negatively to African Americans.
Correct.
Under Democrat president, that's what you said. I'm merely saying back to you that presidents, one, don't spend money, two, don't write policy and sign laws.
I mean, they sign laws, they don't write laws.
That's what you're going to do.
You just made.
I didn't make a proclamation. I'm telling you a constitutional fact, and you know it. What you're trying to do now,
we're talking
that the president doesn't write laws.
Shelley, doesn't hurt when you do that. Shelley, does it hurt?
No, I'm saying does a president write laws? No, they don't.
Does it hurt
when money? No, they don't.
Shelley,
you can sidebar this all you want to.
All right, Shelley, let me go ahead and read you some facts because I know it has to hurt, brother, when you try to pull facts out your ass like that. But here's the reality. Here's the reality, Shelley.
They gotta go 3 minutes. They got to do a show in it.
Okay, real quick. Here's the reality. Number one, you're incorrect about the House and Senate proclamation as it relates to black and brown people in the United States. 100% of all policies that you're talking about has to be signed by the president of the United States.
Not written. I didn't say that. Sir. I didn't say that. I said written.
Okay, sir. Just allow me to finish the rebuttal. And here are the policies that are connected to the more equitable outcomes for Black people in the United States of America. Number one, increase of funding by 588% to higher education. Increase of funding by 314% as it relates to job training skills. Increase of funding.
You got to get the higher education. You got to get the higher education.
Hold on, sir.
When you got reading scores, you got low reading scores, you got
increase of funding by 118% as it relates to reentry programs.
Get to college.
All right, those
are the facts, right? So all Black people are coming out of jail for reentry.
No, I just named to you higher education, job training skills, and reentry. You only focused on the reentry because you feel that's your only win, brother. Come on, man. Your party is
higher education. I focused on higher education first. I said you got to get there first. You got to get there, so you got to come out of good schools. What about the failing schools?
Let's go to that. You got a minute left.
Let's make the argument this.
Shelley, the 8 states that have the worst, sir, the 8 states that have the worst academically performing K through 12 education
are Republican-run states. Yeah, Republican-run states. Absolutely. Go ahead.
That's great,
good.
brother.
And now let's flip it and say the 5 top states in highest crime are Democrat-run states. So now what do we do?
Yeah, here's what we do. Number one, you attack it at the root.
Vote Democrat. No, we vote Democrat.
I'm asking you. The root is policy, Shelley. The root has to be policy.
I can stop crime by voting Democrat.
Name a policy. Just name a policy that has transformed the social and economic outcomes.
School choice. I just named it.
Give me your percentage of school choice and how it changed the outcome.
Well, it gives parents who want their kids to learn an option without having to go to the public school that they're forced to go to. So by giving them an option, they have now better choices to make for their children. Let me answer the question.
Yeah, go, brother. I'm going to absolutely provide another follow-up question to you. Come on, Shelley.
I said school choice. That's my answer.
Okay. What percentage of jurisdictions are able to?
I have no idea, Scott.
You don't know. All right. I appreciate
you. You asked me for a policy, and I said school choice.
Let me tell you a massive policy. A massive policy would be what President Obama did by making sure that K through 12 education had more funding. That is a good dynamic policy. I have no problems with local educators.
I have no problems with that.
Well, great. I'm glad.
So you need to talk to your Republican colleagues
and tell them to stop defunding K through 12 education.
That's not happening. That's what you should do. That's not happening here in Georgia. It hasn't happened over the 4 last legislative sessions. So let's keep going.
It happened with Donald Trump by taking away money from the federal TRIO program, and he took money away from the from Upward Bound, which was the catalyst
and gave it to other more viable programs.
So you're okay with defunding money from children? Okay, brother.
I'm okay with defunding money. I'm okay with moving money from programs that don't work.
That was moving money. It's not defunding when y'all do it to children. It's just defunding when you do it to the police.
I just said he moved it to programs that worked.
Come on, man. I appreciate you, man. I'm getting the rap.
I gotta go. Mark Aram's getting ready to come on WSB Radio 95.5. I'll be on tonight at 9
about Mark Aram. You tell him I said that too.
All right, peace.
Peace, man. This man gonna plug another guy on my show. Come on, this guy's ridiculous.